In the year 2000 BP, before Bug, a place was discovered called Bughylon. Bughylon, based on Babylon, is an ancient city. Go away! No one cares about your ancient history. Crap! Let's just build Bughylon. Bughylon is a temple based in the magic land of Bughylonium. In this episode we'll be building Babylon or Bughylon, based on Babylon. We'll be building a really nice queue leading up to the top of the temple where a roller coaster station has been placed. We also built a little food stand, theme everything, bring everything together, so it's just gonna be so much fun. Can't wait to show you guys what I worked on. So here, let's jump into history and dive into Bughylon. They're coming! They're coming! Ah! Run while you can! Ah! Save yourself!
Nice.
Very nice indeed. First thing we're gonna do is build the little square part where we can then build the walls around. So this is just editing the main square that we have so far. And look how empty it is so far. We're gonna definitely turn this into a better place. So all I'm trying is just building this wall here, as you can see, adding in some fancy details. And then here's another tip from the book. If you want to make sure that your guests don't collide with your scenery, you delete some of the passing using your stem tool, and then you're putting in your scenery into these grassy patches, so that you make sure that your guests don't clash with your scenery. Very nice. So this is what we have so far. Woo! That was nice. Woo! Sorry, I had to undo my screaming, otherwise I would have lost my footage. So here we are. So I'm just flattening down the terrain, and then I'll continue building on this structure that I made for the entrance of Bughylon. Very nice. So it's looking really nice so far, and I'm thinking about expanding this wall on the sides to make a little secluded ancient city of Bughylon. Pretty nice. I've got some really cool ideas, but over the next couple of episodes we'll be building all of that, and a really big coaster. So stick around so you get to see a little bit of that too. So this is what we have so far. I've come up with a better way how to make these snap builds, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. The top of the entrance is quite flat, so I'm working on the little structure that I can put on top so that it looks a little bit more building-ish and not so flat. That's the whole idea. So I'm building a little structure, as you can see here, and I'm just putting that on top of the entrance. And then I'm placing down some big, more structural things at the front, so that I can add some text to it. And then obviously that's going to say the Gardens of Bughylon. But first I call it the Floating Gardens of Bughylon. But then I realized there's nothing actually floating here, so I should just call it the Gardens of Bughylon. Oh my god, Book! Your logic is just out of this world. So proud. Then it was time to add some ladies. And some flowers, because ladies like flowers. I also like ladies. And I like flowers. Very nice. And then I wrote down the Gardens of Bughylon. I mean, the Hanging Gardens of Bughylon. But I ended up changing to just the Gardens of Bughylon, because nothing is hanging. So, at the top of the tower of the entrance, I created some space to put down some soil. And then put lots of plants in. And on the sides as well. So I made plant pots on the left and on the right of the entrance, and that way it will look nicely incorporated. We can always extend this, but for now this is what it looks like. Beep 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 bop beep bop beep bop beep bop. Can someone please get rid of these crickets? I got you, Book. I'll just press this button. No, not that button! Holy crap! Oh, that'll do. I then planted some plants. Super exciting. Here's the snap build. Holy crap! My snap builds are on a roll today and it's making me really hot. So I thought it would be a good idea to install a water feature. Cool down, you know? Sometimes in Planko land it can get really warm. So you need to make sure that you have enough water flowing and you drink enough. So that's what I'm doing here. Building a little water feature. Nothing to it. This is what it looks like. I was very much inspired by this picture. And I've got a little Pinterest board on which I store photos of something that I'd like to make or draw inspiration from. And this picture just really got to me, and I really like the idea of having the water in the middle and then some buildings on the left and the side, and then the tropical look of it. So obviously I needed to have a little bit of a layout of what I was going to make, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm placing down the water feature in the middle, digging up some terrain, putting down some walls, and just giving the basic shape of the Bughylon area. So this is the basic shape of the Bughylon area. Super exciting. I then started laying down some of the pathing on the left and right of the water feature in the middle. Then I placed down some fancier looking wall pieces and some columns as well. So it's starting to come together really nice, and I really wanted to have a little bridge section where you can cross from left to right in the middle as well, as you can see. So yeah. It's already starting to look really cool, and I'm super happy with the way this laid out at the moment. Obviously, it's all very plain looking at the moment, but once we start theming everything and we put all the plants down, it will come together really nice. But there's no time to waste. Let's continue building. Bring out the diggers, get your gloves on, grab your shovels, because we're gonna be doing lots of digging. I really like some depth in my builds, so what I'm doing here is incorporating some depth in my build. I wanted to create a little ravine, so I dug a hole, I chucked some water in it, and then I took it out again and I dug some more hole and I chucked some more water in. I had to reinforce the sides of the walls, so I extended it a little bit, making it poke out, and then put down some more walls so that it continues down. If it was just going to be a straight wall, it wasn't going to look very nice, so I wanted to create a couple of different levels. And that's what I'm doing here, as you can see, and I think it looks quite nice. Currently my landscape looks a little bit like grassy Minecraft. So let's not do that, we're playing Planet Coaster after all, so we want to create a little bit more diversity. So I place down some rocks, and this is what it looks like. In the Bughylon inspiration photos I got on my Pinterest, I see a lot of waterfalls and water features. The whole city was pretty much surrounded by tropical plants and water features, so I wanted to incorporate some water features in my build. So here I'm working on one. So first I'm building some kind of watery bridge, put some water panels on it, some water features, and I chucked a whole bunch of crap in there to make it look like it's been there for a while. Some rocks, some plants, all sorts of stuff. Bughy likes his randomness. So yeah, and then I also placed down some pots on each corner on these pedestals and put some plants in them. And I also placed down some plants, some trees, some palms, some ferns, some flowers. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Yeah. I then built a bridge across to the other side of the ravine and started working on the little temple there. This is where I was going to put down my coaster station. So I wanted the coaster station to start up high, so the temple was gonna look a little bit tall and old and abandoned, but it had lots of plants on it. I also built some of the foundation, just like on the other side. Then I mainly focused on the ravine, putting down some walls, installing some rocks, put down some plants, so I'll just shut up for the next say 20 seconds. So you can just enjoy the building. Then it was finally time to place down the coaster station. I decided to go with the splash coaster because I really wanted to use the rotating tables and all the abilities that this coaster has. The water coaster doesn't have that for some reason, so hopefully Planet Coaster will add them in at some point. After playing around a little bit with the queue, I figured it would probably be a good idea to get a base structure of the building first, so I know where I can place my queue and that there's no interaction or collision between terrain and queue, if you can still follow that. So yeah, I decided to place down some walls, place down some pathing, made a little square. So this is the inside of the building. So yeah, after that I placed down the queue and the exit as well. Oh, that was a good snap build. I also placed down some more of these pillars, placed down some walls and started working on the basic structure of the temple. And then I came up with this cool idea of having these arches on the side, and I was going to put lots of plants in them. And it somehow would connect to the inside of the temple, so from either side it would look really cool. And yeah, nice and green. Then on the top of the temple I placed down a roof, chucked down some walls and built a little garden area. Again, I just needed a lot of space to put down plants and trees, so yeah, this is what it looks like. The building is coming together nicely, but it definitely lacks a little bit of character, so let's work on that a little bit, shall we? I added a couple of walls in here and then give it some more detail with these nice arches. And then I also brought in some of these columns, and it's just, yeah, it's looking really nice and it's getting some character. So yeah, here is one of the most satisfying snap builds. And then I placed down some fences. Oh my god, such ingenuity. Time to add a little bit more character to the building. This time we're working on the exit. So placing down some walls, some arches, and trying to make the whole thing come together. And it's working quite well, but I had a lot of awkward angles to work with the queue and the building below. So it was a little bit of a pain to build. But it's looking very nice. So let's continue. I then put the coaster station on a less awkward angle so I could connect the queue and the exit a little bit better. I then worked a little bit on the roofing situation, which definitely needed some work. And I also placed down some more arches. I wanted this to become a little bit of an outdoor kind of area. So yeah, I slapped down some roofs on the top. Very boring, but we'll work on that later. And then I incorporated the queue with the building by placing down some walls on angles and then putting some fencing on top. So that was a lot of building. So here are 2 snap builds in a row. Very nice. Time to be a gardener, placing down all these trees and bushes and making sure that the building is nicely incorporated with the environment. So lots of putting down bushes, trees, ferns, palms, all that sort of good stuff. I then also placed down some more walls on the left side and then filled the inside with some soil. That way I had another garden section that I could fill up with, drum roll, plants. Duh. What are you, stupid or something? But Book, the ceiling is so terrible. Okay, let's do something about that. Yeah, you better, because this is the ugliest ceiling I've ever seen. Place down some arches, chuck the roof on it, some plants. Oh my god, Book, this is looking so much better. Thank you. Just because you guys are so nice, here is a double snap build. I really had to polish some of the insides because it was looking ugly and bits and pieces were poking out everywhere. So I'm not gonna bore you with this. I'm just gonna show you the snap build. So yeah, here it is. Then I had to do a little bit of theming as well around the station because I relocated it. Again, I'm not going to bore you with this. This is just placing down walls. So here is the snap build. I also placed down some plants on the roof, by the way. Now let's give the inside some love, shall we? That's what she said. One of the things that still needed was some signage, so I decided to make a little sign here, but I didn't like it, so I placed down statues, which is very nice. And then I started working on the queue, like the entrance. So I placed down this really nice looking arch and had to relocate some of the tables. And then I wanted to place down a column, but I had to delete some of the pathing so that I could place down the column and there wouldn't be any collision. The ride also still needed a name, so I decided to call it the Babylonian. I ended up coloring it slightly blue, which I don't really like, so I'm gonna change that later. So this is not going to stay. But I decided to call it the Babylonian because you're going to travel Babylonia. I mean, Bughylonia. I should really change this to Bughylonian. But then it's confusing. I don't know. Help me, let me know down below what you think. Babylonian or Bughylonian? Then I had to do a little bit of theming on the queue. So I hang down some of these really awesome hanging pots that I made, which I'm really happy about. And then I placed down some walls. And these walls are just going to outline the queue. So I could put in some dirt, as you can see here. And then obviously in the dirt, plants need to go in. And I could even fit trees inside. That's how big this queue is. It's quite nice though, like I get to play around with the variety of tall and small plants, which is really nice. And then I built another wall, and then on top I decorated it with some fences. And then I placed down some pots and some informative things to make the queue a little bit more interactive. And this is the end result. Oh my god! After all that building, we finally finished the first section of Gardens of Bughylon. I first said Floating Gardens of Bughylon, but I changed it to Gardens of Bughylon because I think it sounds a little bit better. And floating indicates that something is floating, but there's nothing really floating, to be honest. Sometimes I'm floating in my head, but that's after a couple of... Never mind! Let's go and have a look around, see what we've made so far. So this is the entrance, and the entrance, this is the park entrance here, and this is the main square. So as you can see, it's starting to come along really well. We've made this in the previous episodes. If you want to see what that's all about, check the top right corner right now. You can see a little link, you can click on it and see how we made this. So we made the caffeine addict, little coffee themed flat ride with a coffee roastery. Very nice. We made this little food square. And now we've built the start of Gardens of Bughylon. And this episode we built quite a lot. So let's have a look at it. This is the entrance. There's little waterfalls on each side. Probably have to theme a little bit more, but that's quite alright. So it's a Babylon inspired section. So here's the layout of the themed area so far. So if you have a bird's eye view, you can see we made all of this here. And then we made all of this, did the terraforming. And here we've got planters coming around here, so they'll be just coming around here. Maybe this wall I'll extend along somewhere here. Well, might have another flat right here, maybe some food stuff. And then this is particularly the main area that we focused on. And as you can see, it's quite an intricate build. There's lots of different layers and levels to it. It's fully themed. Obviously, the sides aren't, because this is where the coaster station is. So some coaster track needs to go here, and I need to theme the building around it, but I don't know what it's gonna look like yet. So, and that's the same for this side. It's not finished because, yeah, I want the coaster to come out of here, maybe do like a rotation table, and then go backwards in here, and then go underground here, and then come out somewhere here down in the stream, which will be really cool. But that's something for the next episode. We're gonna check out what I've made so far. Yeah, so I'm not gonna walk around talk too much about this, because it is really what it is. I'm gonna put these plants that you see here along each of the pedestals, and then the coaster will probably, I had a really cool idea of the coaster diving into this water section, coming up here and then make a big splash in this area, and then disappear somewhere under here. But at least I want the coaster to have some interaction with the pathing in this section. So, oh my god, so much to make, but so many cool ideas, and I cannot wait to see what the end result is like. I'm gonna show you guys a little bit here. This is a little waterfall section I made. Really happy with it, how it turned out, how the water splashes onto this rock and then falls back in here. I have to actually put a little animation thing here that it shows that the water is splashing, but look how cute and cozy this is. I want the boat ride to come through here, and I have a little like Bughylon themed jungle area, and then somewhere go in here, or you know, it has to go all the way up to the top, because this is where the coaster station is. But that's all for the next episode. We're gonna be doing lots of building. So let's check out. So this is like the little bridge that connects this area. A little bridge that brings it to the other side. So there's quite some depth to it, and that's really what I want. I like depth in my builds. As you can see, I should have paid the wall repair guy a little bit more, because my walls are falling apart. Oh my god! I'm running this theme park on a budget, so... Anyway, you have three options. You can go in here, which is the exit of the coaster. You can go in here, which is leads you to the entrance of the coaster, and then you can go up here, and that leads you also to the entrance of the coaster. And this wraps around. I've not themed this yet. I kind of stopped theming behind this invisible line that you can't see here, so you're gonna have to use your imagination. But draw a line here, everything right of it. I've not themed yet, because it's really depending on what the coaster will do once it comes out of there. But the station is in place, the queue is in place, it's all fully themed. So let's pop in here. You've got little statues on the left, some flowers, and haven't themed this because I want the coaster to come through here and then dive into the ground here somewhere. Whoa, what the fuck? Light glitch. So yeah, I've not fully themed it yet. There's bits and pieces poking out everywhere, but that's quite alright. And then we've got the little indoor area. So we got a little pizza pen with some seating and another statue. I thought it would be really cool. And then we've got the Bughylonian, which will be the name of the ride. I might have to increase the size of this name a little bit, but I really like the name, the Bughylonian, which is just literally you jumping on the coaster and experience the life of an ancient Babylonian. Yeah. So we've got a cool water feature here with water flowing down the sides, and then the sign in there, which is really nice. We'll go up here. So this is the queue. We got some planting stuff here. Lots of thingies here, and we've got a little statue of Bee, the wife of King Bughuul. Very nice. And here we've got this Bughylonian pot was found in ancient Babylonia. and dates back to nearly 2000 BB before book. That's what it means. So just some like funny things to look at while you're waiting in the queue. And then you wrap around here, and I really like this section because it comes out a little bit and it's super nicely incorporated with the building. It's very cute and cozy, which is I really like that. Got some more pots here, and then here we've got "Here rests B, the glorious, most beautiful, strongest woman." It's a little memorial thingy. Yeah, and then you go up here, and here's the coaster station. Currently it's not themed yet, but it is integrated already, and it's we're gonna obviously theme the whole thing, bring it all together. And then we've got the top section here with the little garden here and the garden there, and we've got all sorts of trees and plants planted in the soil. And then this piece is coming from the entrance here, which is really nice. So then you ride the coaster and you come out of here, and you make your way down here, through here, down here, and then you go this way. So it's quite the travel, and then you come down here, and then you're back inside, and then you can either go back for another ride or you come out there. So yeah, that's kind of what we made the whole episode. It's quite a long episode, but we built the building is super intricate. There's lots of little nooks and crannies, lots of little details and things going on. I struggled a little bit with the build. It's quite complex, to be honest. There's all these pieces poking out and all the different angles and the different shapes, like the unnaturally circular shapes with the sharp corners. And it's just, it really made for a really tricky layout of the queue and the building, but that's quite alright. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I can't wait to show you guys what I'm gonna do in the next episode, because I got some crazy ideas. So yeah, if you like this, please consider subscribing. There's a little button here on the bottom right corner. You can click that and click the subscribe button for ease of mind. You don't have to go to my channel and click subscribe and all that stuff. Let me know down below what you think. If you got any suggestions how to theme this Bughylon or Babylon inspired area, please let me know. I'm super happy to incorporate some of the ideas given from the community into this park, like some of the things I made here. Someone suggested some of these areas, like a little crazy clock and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, please do let me know. I'm really happy to look at all the comments and respond to you all, and you all mean a lot to me. I try to reply to everyone in the community and make sure that you all feel that I do care, because I really do care about you all, every single one of you. So yeah, let me know if you like the content. Let me know if there's any suggestions that you'd like me to see changed in the future. And with that, I'll wish you all the best day, and thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.